Welcome back to The Explainer. Look, today we're zeroing in on a highly frustrating problem in technical SEO. We're going to talk about those invisible technical errors that are just quietly suppressing search visibility and, frankly, robbing your clients of hard-earned revenue. Now, you might think your site's foundation is totally solid, but silent code decay, it could be telling search engines a completely different story. So if you're an agency owner or an in-house SEO, I want you to imagine this absolute nightmare scenario. Your client has spent literally years earning hundreds of beautiful 5-star reviews. The content is right there on the page, the users love it, but when you look at the search results, Google is just completely ignoring every single one of them. No stars, no rich results, nothing. The great content is there, sure, but broken code is acting like a brick wall. It's totally preventing those massive click-through rate upgrades from ever seeing the light of day.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today. We're covering the silent visibility killers, broken reviews and ratings, the deprecated schema trap, article authorship, missing breadcrumbs and video, and we'll wrap up with your schema maintenance blueprint. All right, kicking things off with part 1, the silent visibility killers and what Google actually sees. We really need to establish just how massive the disconnect is between the user experience and Googlebot's crawling. You know, to a human eye, 200 5-star reviews looks absolutely fantastic. But when Google's bot encounters a fatal error, something as simple as a missing best rating property in the schema, it just hits a brick wall. And here's the crucial takeaway. If that machine-readable structure is flawed, those human visible trust signals, they literally do not matter to the algorithm. The stars just vanish. Moving right along to part 2, let's look at broken reviews and ratings and how we actually restore those trust signals. So, diving into the aggregate rating schema, there are a few incredibly common syntax errors that just completely kill review stars. For instance, formatting a rating as a string. Like if you type out 4.7/5 instead of just the plain number 4.7. Google's bot is a total stickler for the rules here. It wants the plain number. Or maybe you forget to nest the aggregate rating block inside a parent entity like a local business. If it's just floating in your code completely unattached, Google outright rejects it. It really is that sensitive. But here's the really amazing thing about fixing this. It is a massive, low-effort, high-reward move. Think about it. By taking just 1, maybe 2 hours to run the rich results test, fix those formats to plain numbers, and correctly nest the schema, you unlock months and months of increased click-through rates. The reviews already exist. You're basically just fixing the bridge so Google can finally display them to the world. Okay, part 3, the deprecated schema trap and the decay of search visibility. Now, what's really interesting here is realizing that schema is absolutely not a set-it-and-forget-it thing. Let's walk through the life cycle of deprecation. So imagine you had a perfectly valid schema implementation 3 years ago. Great, right? But then, let's say in 2023, Google suddenly decides to deprecate how-to and Q&A schema. If you didn't proactively update your code, that perfectly valid structured data from years ago is now just sitting there, generating invalid items errors in Search Console. It's this silent decay that actively harms Google's overall confidence in your site's structured data. To combat this exact issue, the source material from Harper Media Group outlines a pretty brilliant blueprint. It gives you the exact steps to audit Search Console, spot those newly unsupported types, and completely rip out that dead how-to markup. It also shows you how to update outdated product properties. You know, like swapping out those old GTIN 8s or GTIN 14 tags and replacing them with a modern unified GTIN property. Shifting gears a bit, let's head into part 4, article authorship, EEAT, and verifying the source. So why might Google be completely confused about whether a page is breaking news, an opinion piece, or just a standard blog? Well, it's because AI citation systems and search algorithms desperately need a verifiable chain of identity. If your author property is just a plain text string that says Jane Smith, that provides absolutely 0 EEAT value. 0. An AI can't verify a text string. It needs a person entity with a URL pointing to an actual author bio page, and ideally that comes complete with same-as links pointing to their LinkedIn or Twitter profiles. Getting this right means you have to move away from using the generic article type. You've got to apply specific subtypes, use news article for publishers or blog posting for editorials. And of course, you must include that verifiable author entity we just talked about. Also, make sure your date published and date modified fields are strictly formatted to the ISO 861 standard. The beautiful part about all of this
If you fix this correctly just once at the CMS template level, it instantly propagates proper AI-friendly signals across every single article on your entire site.
All right, on to part 5, missing breadcrumbs in video and connecting the structure.
Let's look at structural architecture. Missing breadcrumb schema basically makes your site's hierarchy completely invisible to Google's navigation systems. And if you do have it, it absolutely has to match your visual breadcrumbs exactly. Any discrepancy between the visual breadcrumbs the user sees on the page and the backend schema triggers instant suppression. Also, your list item positions must be sequential integers always starting at 1 for the homepage. Now, when we look at rich media like video, the formatting rules are incredibly strict, and I really cannot emphasize this absolute requirement enough. If a client's video duration isn't formatted in this exact machine-readable syntax, something like PT5M30S for a 5-minute and 30-second video, Google Video Search is just going to ignore it. A plain text duration string, it'll fail every single time. And when you're applying the video object blueprints, there is a super vital distinction you have to make. If your video is self-hosted on your own site, Google needs a content URL that points directly to the file to index it. But if you're embedding a YouTube or Vimeo player, you absolutely must use the embed URL property instead. Mixing these up means Google simply won't index the media correctly, and that is going to cost you those highly clicked video thumbnail-rich results. Okay, bringing it home with part 6, your schema maintenance blueprint, and the ongoing process. To stop these invisible revenue leaks permanently, we really need a shift in mindset. You fix the errors today, sure, but how do you keep them from coming back? Honestly, a quick 20-minute monthly check prevents the silent schema decay that inevitably affects most client sites over a 2 to 3 year period. Because, let's be real, Google doesn't send you a personal email when they change a schema property. It just breaks. You really should frame this maintenance cycle as the ultimate agency value add. Every single month, you run a full schema audit in the Search Console Rich Results Report. You cross-reference any new errors against Google's current documentation, you fix them, and you revalidate. By doing this, you are keeping that technical foundation absolutely pristine. It ensures that the human-created content actually gets the visibility and the clicks it deserves. Which brings us to the ultimate question. Since we know schema deprecates without warning, and we know these errors are entirely silent on the front end, is your client's search visibility decaying right now? Don't guess. Go check your Search Console. Thanks so much for joining the explainer today, and we'll catch you next time.